Does this look like genital warts to you?
That won't stay in.
Why
Dislike.
Dislike.
I said just like.
I thought you said dislike.
I'll see you later, dick hair.
I'm just...
Hello, lads and lassies, and welcome back to another Musings. Today we saw 2 Avatar, 2 Water. It was a movie. It exists.
It was a movie. Avatar: The Way of Water.
Avatar:
In
The Way
case
of
anyone's like,
Bowel Control.
I'm
just getting the notes out.
What? Bowel control.
Oh, it would have been bladder control, I guess.
Oh, bladder control, yeah.
So
bowel control.
Bowel control.
That's Earth.
Sorry. Oh my god.
Soil.
Soil. Don't soil yourself.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so we'll do quick thoughts on the first.
Why did I read that as nuggets?
What?
Quick nuggets.
Quick. We're very tired, so...
Someone's hungry.
Someone's got the hungies. I think you're getting food on the way home, by the way.
What?
Or did you have food before you came out?
I had food before I came out.
Very good. Sorry, I'm just still looking at that Return to Pandora thing. I should funny. I'll edit it into the video if I can. It's brilliant.
The easiest way to sum up my thoughts on this film is I liked it. I didn't think it was amazing, which I thought maybe I would have done.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it was bad. It's very much just... It is.
Yeah.
For me.
I would agree. In terms of the first one, I think I saw it at the cinema when it came out, but I think I saw it once on DVD, and then I never watched it again until I saw the re-release with you in September.
Really?
Yeah.
You've not seen it at all
No.
since the... Wow.
No.
That's pretty cool.
I had not watched my Blu-ray at all, like, in the whole... I think, like I said, I think last time I watched it was probably 2012.
Jeez!
So, like 10 years.
10 years?
Yeah. Yeah, and when we saw it in IMAX, I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was stunning. And
IMAX lended itself incredibly well.
Yeah.
That's probably the best IMAX film, despite Top Gun Maverick.
Yes.
Top Gun Maverick was something else.
Yeah. I would have seen, we would have seen 2 Avatar, 2 Water in IMAX, but weather and just timing.
Just timing.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely. Just timing.
Yeah, it's just timing. But yeah, I like the first one.
You seem to have more dislike to this one than I do.
Mm-hmm.
In the sense of, like, we came out the cinema and you were actually saying specific things.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way.
No.
But just in a way that, like, you clearly have much more specific things to say than I do.
Yeah.
It's one of those films that I genuinely just feel very bleh with. The best way I can describe it, which I alluded to in the drive, is it never peaked for me.
No.
At any point. I was really, really enjoying the setup.
Yeah.
And then we spend so long integrating with the Water Tribe, but it didn't...
Your eyes just... No, it's fine.
But it didn't ever feel like we were
At, like...
peaked interest.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And then, like, the all is lost moment that's supposed to get you really invested.
Yeah.
It works for me in the first one when they burn the tree down.
Yeah, because they lose, like, their home and everything.
And you feel the devastation. Yeah. And, like, the music is so good in that scene as well, I thought.
Yeah.
But, the moment in this film will really get to a lot of people.
Definitely. We can talk about it because it's spoilers, like I said.
Oh, yeah. So when they're hurting the whale things, that will really get
it got
people.
to, like, I didn't... How to put this? I was just like, okay, you're making me feel like shit here. This is really sad, especially when the... what did they call it? It wasn't the calf. Was it the calf they called it?
The calf, yeah.
Yeah, especially when it was rubbing up to its mother after it died. I was like, okay, that's depressing. Please don't show me this. But it didn't... Like, obviously I was angry, but it didn't spur me on the way the first one does.
Yeah, I think if they had done it on a larger scale, like if they killed all the whales...
Yeah, that's the thing. I was like, you're just going to kill one?
Not in a bad way, of course.
No, but...
cruelty. But,
no.
Yeah.
But it just felt like...
No.
Fucking what? More dead whales, or...
More
what was
whales.
It called them? Like, not Tutankhamun. Was it something?
I've literally just rewatched Wakanda Forever, so I just have Cuckoo Khan in my
Yeah.
But my enemies call me Namor. I love the way he says Namor, by the way. Like, people call him Namor, but the fact that Namor is like French for no love. And I love that.
Well,
Amor is love. And he says that in the film.
It is,
he's
yes.
like, my enemies call me Namor. because it was like the child without love or something.
Yeah.
And he was like, because I have no love for the surface world. Anyway.
Yeah.
On to other blue
like
sea
you were
films.
Well,
A blue water film.
there are blue people in that as well. Yeah, it's. They should have. This is gonna. Yeah, again, this sounds bad, but they should have killed more whales. No, that's the thing. Like, you just kill one. It's like.
This
Okay.
is gonna sound
No,
bad.
but that's what they do. Like sometimes anyway. But
yeah.
you see like a whole herd of them going through the water, and then they just kill one. It's like. I thought they would send a message. Although I did like it when. I say I liked it. They showed that the creatures are quite intelligent and very emotional when the corpse is there and all the ones are like surrounding them, like kind of mourning it. I thought that was a nice detail. Yeah, I'm not. I hate abuse to animals, but it just didn't feel like enough to spur on.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe you were just not sitting very comfortably. But
I was actually comfortable always. See, that's the thing. Like
you looked like you were getting a little bit uncomfortable watching it.
Yeah,
in the sense that you were like.
Yeah, I don't like watching that stuff at all. Like, when we rewatched John Wick, I was generally just like, no.
He was making a lot of noise.
Because I hate shit like that, and it's just really sad, especially when there's like a child like just there as well. It's like, fuck off, bro. No, that's not no. Yeah, it's just not a strong emotional hook for me.
It'll really, really get people.
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't feel like I was gotten by it.
Yeah.
I hate to think what that means about me as a person. But
it's just...
It just didn't peak the way it was meaning to. Because if that had happened earlier in the film and then we had a bigger thing happen, sure, that would have worked. But that's the thing that's meant to be like our home tree moment. Yeah,
where it's like, oh no. And then it's just like, well, it's just... I know it's bad, but it's just one. Like, you haven't exactly like damaged the ecosystem by killing one.
No, I mean you've pissed them off royally.
Yeah.
But if they killed them all, it would have heavily impacted the ecosystem.
I've also just realised that like outcasted one never actually got accepted.
No,
like,
but
they kind of just left it.
Oh no.
Yeah, because they were, oh, he saved us. But then, well, no, they didn't even say that. Like after at the end when he pulls them up.
You got his comeuppance though, like the way he was dodging everything.
Yeah. Oh, and then when the
cool.
rocket, he was like, oh, he just blocks it with his head.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
Like
Yeah.
I found that immensely satisfying.
Oh yeah.
Because there were points where I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, don't just, and then he just like goes, like when they shoot the cable, and he just dodges it, and you're like.
Yeah.
Oh, that was cool.
Yeah.
And then like he wraps the cable and like pulls them.
Arm fucking. Oh my god.
It was the fact that you see the arm flying in midair and you get a
him.
decent look at the stump as he flies. I was like, that is great.
And they say, and I'm pretty sure they say fuck once in the film.
They do, but it does say infrequent strong language in the certificate.
Well, it feels quite safe, if I'm being honest. In terms of, I feel like it's also a case of it's been 13 years. We don't want to give them the weird shit just yet. No, but it does, like, it's like I said to you, there's parts of it where I'm like, this is very generic. Like, the whole, the outcast is getting bullied, and then, well, not outcast, but like, you know, the different, like...
That's all they see.
The tree people, it's just, it's very subtle racism. It's not. But it is, it's just the whole thing of, like, oh, we're different. I'm like, oh my god, we saw this in the first one, humans and Na'vi. Now it's just different Na'vi.
Nature. I was going to say it's just human nature.
But why didn't they realise this when they were gathering up the people? I don't get this. It's just, as I was saying, it's the whole, they're bullying him because he's different. They fight, but then they get into trouble and they're made to apologise. But it's like, that's cool, bro. Come on, let's go hunting. I've got a cool place to show you. And I was genuinely like, fuck off. Like, I know where this is going. You're going to take him somewhere and leave him, and he's going to be in great danger, and then...
You know something I was thinking of? I don't think they truly did much interesting with the parents.
No.
It was heavily focused on the kids, which is fine, but... and I thought that I was quite emotionally invested with most of them. I thought we would have gotten a lot more of Sigourney Weaver's character, though, because she is heavy in the marketing.
Yeah.
She like is
she's
the
on the
star
poster.
of the
Yeah,
trailers.
Yeah, she's
She
on the
is
poster.
the star of the poster.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
It's,
I think she's going to be a major character for the story as a whole.
yeah.
So I feel like going back and rewatching this, it's like the seeds of her being planted.
Yeah. I don't think well, at the very least, I don't think Sam Worthington's going to last past 3. Because I feel like if they're going to wrap, like if Cameron said he can wrap up the story, I just thought about this a minute ago. I feel like if they can wrap it up with 3, they'll probably move on with the kids maybe.
I feel like they're going that way.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Speaking of it being safe, I'm surprised you used that word exactly, because they do kill people.
Yeah, they do. They do.
The fact that they killed the kid.
Yeah, that was quite.
That was quite.
And when he was like going and he just went, I was like, oh.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
It's kind of difficult for me to really judge The Way of Water by itself, because it is a second part of a story.
Yeah.
It's not even like the second part of a trilogy, it's the second part of a 5-part planned thing.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the seeds are being planted with Sigourney Weaver's character. I can't remember anyone's names, I'm so sorry.
No, it's weird pronunciation letters. That's it.
But the fact that like we don't know who the dad is, or if she even had a dad, that's very Anakin Skywalker vibes. Whenever that happens, you know they're like the chosen one.
Yeah.
The fact that she can tap into AWAS so much stronger than anyone else.
That was another thing that I was like, that's quite generic, is like, we're just like, oh, if she has another seizure underwater. Oh, I was like,
what do you mean generic?
no, but it's the whole thing of, oh, if she does this again, I'm like, well, she's going to do it again then. No, but it's the whole setup thing of, she shouldn't have done that, and if she does this again, you know, that's it. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, so she's going to do that again. But to be fair, she actually didn't.
No,
She also seems to be able to breathe underwater now. Although that helped her breathe. But I don't get how that helped her breathe. I don't get that.
Well, they just explained it earlier in the film.
I don't remember.
They did say, in the film's defense, they did say that thing helps you breathe underwater.
Yeah.
Gives you air or something.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, I was like, why is no one using these things more?
Yeah.
And then it shows up at the end when they need it. I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
But it gets quite dark. Like at the very end, it gets very dark very quickly. Like they all think they're going to die. The fact that Jake said to his son after his eldest died, "You've done enough."
I was like, that's dark.
I was like, that is dark.
That is quite like...
For a parent to turn around at that moment and say that.
Yeah. And I thought that was going to carry into the sequels of him kind of...
I'm sure it will.
Yeah, but like at the end, they're like, I see you. It's fine,
yeah, but, you know, that's not going
for
to
the
go
sake
away.
of drama, you know?
That said, though, as I say, I'm struggling to judge this by
I've just
itself.
realised, I think I'm wearing the same jumper as it. No, it's not the same jumper. Never mind.
I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with Sigourney Weaver's character. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with Naturi. In my opinion, they did fuck all with her in this film.
Yeah, she was kind of just concerned mother. That's it.
And even then, it was always like Jake was the one dealing with the kids. You never saw Naturi deal with the kids.
Yeah.
But at the very end, Spider looks at her very scared because she's just lost it.
Yeah.
Like she's not there when she's killing all those people. And then when everyone's dead and she's just there and she's just feral.
Yeah.
I'm also the fact that she was going to kill Spider.
Yeah, speaking of that, I do have a problem with it because now I know you say it could be just a flesh wound, but what I saw, right, was her cut, and then when he moves his head, the wound visibly opens.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, how is he still talking normally?
No, I agree because I saw that.
And then in one shot, it disappears.
Oh.
Like when it's a close up of his face. There's nothing there, and you know it's not above the mask. It's there, and I was like, it just looked like when you open a throat, like well when you cut open a throat, you know as you do. No, but you know what I mean. Like you could see it expand, and cuts wouldn't expand as much as it did. Like it went from like that to like that. And I was like, what?
No, I believe you, but I'm also believing that it was near the end of a 3+ hour film that we've seen once.
Yeah. I'll keep an eye out for that next time.
Yeah, keep an eye out for that next time.
It's one thing.
But like the film isn't afraid to leave you with loose threads because the story's not finished. I like that.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking forward to seeing what they do.
Yeah.
The fact that Neytiri and Spider don't reconcile by the end of the film.
Yeah.
So that's going to continue, hopefully. I hope so.
Hopefully.
I imagine Avatar is not like the MCU where they leave loose threads and then they tie them up with a throwaway line in the sequel.
Well, apparently to get the scope of the story, he had 8 writers. And he had 8 writers 7 writers that worked for 8 months. And he didn't give any of them an individual script because if he did, they would just check out of their movie, like if it wasn't their movie. So he told them the whole thing through, and then told them what film they were writing. So in a way, if they get the whole scope, so he hired
7 writers for 7 films, and then just allocated 1 film per writer randomly after explaining the story outline.
Right, I'm gonna go find the IMDb thing. If there's anything you want to talk about while I find this.
One thing I will say is Avatar was kind of a joke in my school. I don't know if this is an wide consensus, but I thought it was at my age. But Avatar was a film that, like, it's the highest grossing film of all time, but not, like, where are its fans? Like, who loves Avatar and who's on the internet?
It's an anomaly.
Avatar. It's bizarre. Like, it truly is bizarre. But it's the highest grossing movie ever. It's a huge IP. But it has 2 films now and a ride. That is it.
Yeah.
That is all it has.
Yeah.
And it's original.
Yeah.
Why is no one else speaking about how insane and how good that is? Like, we're always talking about how, all we get is sequels and reboots. Well, Avatar is actually something.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's an original IP.
That is the brainchild of a madman.
Fucking that guy is.
And the stuff he like the fact that he was like, no, I had this idea in the 90s, but the technology wasn't there. What the fuck?
This guy's done some drugs.
He's been working on this idea for like 20, 30 years.
Yeah, and the fact that it was like 13 years between like the first one and the second one. And the fact it's made as much as it has with that much of a gap and not leaving that much of a cultural footprint apart from highest grossing film of all time and that weird film with blue people. Like,
and a ride. Apparently the ride is sensational.
But it's genuinely tremendous that, like, as I was saying to Calum off camera just before this, like, I would have been curious, like, before the marketing machine for this film got going, I would have been very curious for a public survey of how many people actually remembered Avatar. And then again, what it actually was and why it's, like, do you know what I mean? Because I don't think you'd find very many people that aren't, like, into film a decent bit that would remember Avatar.
There's a fair few things that probably led to its massive gross. I mean, we know that it was huge in China.
Yeah, and the 3D
and that's
boom
where
as well,
it made its money. The 3D boom, people were seeing it in premium format, so they were paying more.
Yeah.
There probably wasn't much competition in 2009 December.
No.
I don't remember anything else.
Was it December?
Pretty sure.
Right, just quickly before we do that, I found the thing. It's apparently the sequels are such a massive undertaking that he divided 4 scripts between the writing team of 4 people, and this is a direct quote from him. I think we met for 7 months and we whiteboarded out every scene in every film together, and I didn't assign each writer which film they were going to work on until the last day. I knew if I assigned them their scripts ahead of time, they'd tune out every time we were talking about the other movie.
Okay, yeah, and I get what you mean now.
So it's kind of the thing of,
that's
like,
interesting.
He explained the whole scope of it so that when they were writing their own movies, they would actually care about leaving it off for the next one and setting things up and just kind of and not, like, think about their movie alone. Kind of.
No, yeah, that's very cool.
The exact opposite of The Last Jedi and, like, just those films.
That's something else. I am very, very excited to watch Avatar because it's an original idea from a madman who has a plan for a 5-film story arc.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll work as a 5-film or if it'll be a 4-film and then the first one is its own thing.
It was December, by the way. Yeah.
But recently we've not had that.
No.
The Star Wars sequels didn't have a plan.
Yeah.
And it showed.
Yeah, it definitely shows.
What else? What else is up here? Let's say the Jurassic trilogy. Jurassic World trilogy.
There wasn't a plan for that either.
Well, Colin just wanted to make Dominion.
Yeah.
So he made World to get back into it, and then he gave Fallen Kingdom to someone else. Because he wanted to make Dominion.
Yeah, he set it up and he finished it, but he didn't care about what happened in the middle.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel like a
great trilogy. Yeah. Again, it shows.
This is one of those things that I'm just gonna waste time.
No, it's fine.
Oh, big one. Let me just sort my belt so it doesn't look like I'm just masturbating.
What?
Where are the notches? Big one. Phase 4 of the MCU.
Yeah.
It feels like... I mean, we say there's no plan. What do we know? Do we actually know?
Well, that's the thing. As you heard, Kevin Feige went on a writing retreat to plan Phase 5.
Yeah.
So hearing that, you're kind of like...
Yeah, they were like, oh, we're going to plan the next 10 years of Marvel.
And then if you think about Phase 4 as unplanned, it really makes a lot of sense.
Well, the thing is, when they did that, earlier this year? After a bunch of Phase 4 had come out and everything else had been made and was just being edited and released.
Yeah.
So they clearly didn't have a plan for Phase 4. What they just did was they were like, well, we can't stop making content, so we need to just plug stuff out to keep everyone happy.
Yeah.
And stay relevant, sort of thing.
Yeah. And actually, I didn't think about it that way. That's probably what DC are doing, but that's another story for another day.
DC, yeah, no plan. So Avatar, honestly, the fact that people shit talk Avatar, but then they always complain about not enough original things.
Yeah,
the scale.
Bro, yeah.
Yeah, you can talk about the fact that, the story's nothing special.
Avatar is the definition of original because it's, no other film uses, CG. If you think about it, it's an animated film, if you think about it. But obviously there is humans in it sometimes as well. But the fact that they create this whole world just purely using CGI that looks that good.
I know.
It like I said, it's the definition of an original IP.
Yeah. And no one gives Avatar the credit it deserves for that, I don't think.
No, it really doesn't. It really, really doesn't. They really don't. God, brain.
I'm really learning to appreciate Avatar for that. The fact that it's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge.
The fact that he made up a language as well for it.
Exactly.
It's insane.
With so little.
Yeah.
People do this all the time with books. You rarely see it on this scale in film.
Mm-hmm.
Say Game of Thrones, that's George R.R. Martin's.
Yeah.
That's not the TVs, that's the books.
Yeah. This is all in film, original. And to be honest, I would not be surprised if he literally has a book that's just Pandora, and it's all the ecosystems, all the different creatures, how they integrate, all the different plant life, all just the seasons, the weather, just everything. I would not be surprised if he literally has the entire world mapped out, down to the tiniest detail, because it feels like it. Because everything feels like the Way of Water didn't feel like a complete disconnect from the first one. No. It felt like it was in the same world, and it could have easily felt like it was different.
Yeah.
But to me, it felt like it was a part of this world, and there was this kind of, like I said, ecosystem and this way that the world works, which again is just so original. And
I'm just in awe that we're getting a massive, massive franchise that I think Avatar will be remembered as one of the big ones.
Oh yeah.
I hope so. I mean, who knows? Maybe this video will age really, really poorly.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Because people would say Star Wars is back, and then 3 years later everyone's hating.
Oh my God, Star Wars! What pile of dog shit! I didn't even like the originals. They're all bad.
They ruined my childhood.
Fucking no, they didn't. Piss off. George Lucas ruined your childhood with the special editions. No, I'm joking. But
anyone who says, "Oh, you've ruined my childhood," I'm like,
grow up.
Grow up.
You fucking pussy. You still. But that's the thing. You have that stuff. Sorry, that's bad. You have stuff there. Just watch it.
It's
you don't have to. You don't have to watch the new ones.
No, exactly. The original trilogy will never be taken away from you if that's your thing. Some people are just pathetic.
Exactly.
Unfortunately.
Exactly.
It's that simple. But I cannot overstress, like, the more I think about this, the happier I get. It just, the fact that Avatar exists.
Yeah.
And what it is.
And the fact that it's actually, I feel like it's a thing of, we didn't realise it until, like, the second one was actually about to come out. Like, it's this thing of, like, because obviously there was 13 years where, personally, I thought it was just going to get cancelled.
It got to a point where you heard about it.
Yeah.
For years, and you were just like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. It's like when said he would do something, and you're like, yeah, okay.
So let's just quickly talk about the runtime. Did you feel that? Do you?
My bum did.
Oh yeah. Well, to be
was
fair,
numb.
he was feeling that before anyway, so that sounded really bad. I'm gonna.
On the drive in, it was really funny because I
I
was like, I'm not liking this.
Yeah.
My bum's already feeling a little bit numb, and we're driving to the cinema.
Have you been doing a lot of sitting today?
Yes, yeah.
That's
to be
helpful.
fair, I've sat a wee bit today.
Because that was the problem with me when we saw Avatar in IMAX. It's because I've been watching 4 films previous, and that was so uncomfortable.
Like, I'm actually not very comfortable on my bum right now.
No.
But
Anyway, yeah, it didn't feel its runtime entirely for me. Like I said, I checked my watch at the 2-hour mark roughly, and I was quite surprised that even though there was quite a lot of the film where I was like, oh my god, why? It didn't drag that much for me.
no, I wouldn't say it drags, but like the first time you're watching it, you're just sort of soaking it in.
Yeah.
But it's one of those films that you do just soak in.
Yeah.
Like, you just sort of in awe
Yeah.
almost the entire time. Like, there were so many times in that film that I was like, I cannot believe the fact that this is just people in mocap suits in a blue box with in a swimming pool.
Yeah, it genuinely is insane, and the detail they managed to get, like we were talking about off camera again, the mocap underwater stuff. Like, I thought that having the stuff underwater would fuck with the tracking and kind of make it really hard to put effects on it. But it's genuinely like, there was
I
only
think it would, but that's why it's so huge that they've managed.
There's only one instance in the film where I was like, that looks a bit dodgy, and that was it. And it was a bit where a boat beached itself on a rock, flipped over and blew up. That was the only time that I was like, ooh. But apart from that, like, it's genuinely insane. Like,
they're the best visual effects.
I want to know what was practical. Because I was like, especially with the humans, like with the boats and that, I was like, what is practical here? Like, I was probably on a rig, but...
Well, you know the bit where, like, Spider jumps into the water? That's actually when the guy gets shot. I saw behind the scenes pictures of, like, the interior of the boat was real. It was on a soundstage, but I'm pretty sure the interior of the boat was real. So they probably they built sets, kind of like how Star Wars does it. How they have sets and then it's just surrounded by blue screens.
Yeah.
But honestly, not much is my bet.
Yeah.
Practical. But it's in the sense that, like, we sometimes shit on the lack of practical effects.
But this is something that could only be done
That's it.
and look competent with visual effects. Because I feel like if you just dressed people up in blue suits, it'd probably just be really funny.
Because with the Star Wars sequels, for instance, we were saying that it feels like everything that could be done practically, they tried to.
It's a nice mix of CG and visual effects, whereas the prequels feels like it goes too heavy into the visual effects, and it suffers for it sometimes. And the originals use a lot of practical and very, very little CG only when they need to. And then the sequels are a very good mix of practical and CG. They do all the all the creatures in practical, but all the space stuff with CG, and it looks really good. The score, I didn't really notice much.
No, you weren't a huge fan of that, were you?
No. And with regards to the third one, the fact that he's handed in a 9-hour cut and he wants to do all the visual effects for it before he cuts it down, this man is certifiably insane. And he apparently also already has plans for Avatar 6 and 7, which is just...
Well, that's the thing, like, if Avatar 1 to 5 do well, and they're quite well hailed, of course, Disney's going to want to do more.
That's the thing. I haven't looked up if Disney are like... Because I imagine they couldn't have pulled... Because they only bought Fox, a couple of years, like 4 years ago?
Oh no, it must have been a bit longer than that.
So I don't think they could have pulled the plug.
The deal was finalised in 2020, was it not? Because
Yeah.
I remember COVID was the thing. The New Mutants was being released around it. I think they announced it in 2019, near the end of 2019.
Yeah.
But yet, no, well into production,
Yeah.
suffice to say. I remember when we got the first still, it was like Avatar 2 started shooting like a few years ago. Everyone was like, oh, it's actually happening.
Yeah.
And it was just them in mocap suits in a pool. One last thing I will say, as I itch my inner thigh, but it looks like I'm itching
Delicious.
somewhere else. It was a bit of a thing, like a bit of a news thing, that Kate Winslet held her breath
7 minutes.
for 7 minutes.
And she beat Tom Cruise's record, yeah.
Yeah, but where's that scene? Unless it's not in this one, if it's in one of the others, because they did shoot them back to back.
I think they've shot 2 and... I think they've shot 3. I don't think they've shot any more.
No, they haven't.
But that's what scares me. If it's successful, well then they'll probably know from this one if it's successful. Because I would imagine that they would not be able to shoot it right after Avatar 3 and then get it out in 2 years.
No.
With the visual effects. I feel like... And I think that's what he said, is like, if this doesn't do well, I can wrap it up with the third one if needs be. I feel like they will start shooting Avatar 4 next year if all goes to plan.
Yeah, yeah. It's also the thing that like Disney might just see it as a fact that Avatar's huge. It's the highest grossing movie of all time. Our ride is always killing it. This is something we need more of.
And the fact that the 5 films have been announced for ages anyway.
Like the potential of the franchise is huge.
Yeah.
Like as a money making thing for them. So in a business sense,
Yeah.
I don't see them quitting.
I just thought of another good thing. I'm really sorry. I keep dragging this out, but it's what I was saying with Bram Stoker's Dracula. It's with this franchise again. It's really exciting because of another thing. It's one man's consistent vision.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's no fucking bullshit of people like poking and prodding and changing things, the studio interfering or anything. It's this guy. He has thought everything out, and it's consistent. And we do not get enough of that these days.
No, I agree.
Especially like, obviously you can say, oh, like I'm trying to think, like, no, actually no. Let me take that point back. I mean, with an original IP, especially, it doesn't, like, you don't get that with an original where it's completely untampered with, and they're allowed to do to go that distance, to do as much as they want, pretty much.
Yeah.
And it's like it's just it's insane. I mean, another one could technically be Guardians. But then again, I don't know if the studio interfered with the second one.
I don't know.
Then there's also the constraints of the MCU as well. But yeah, I feel like this is like... I genuinely am having a hard time of thinking of a franchise that is consistent throughout in terms of like one director. Because even Star Wars isn't.
No, Star Wars isn't, no.
Well, Middle-earth.
Middle-earth.
But I would say Lord of the Rings more than The Hobbit.
No, The Hobbit was...
Yeah, actually, yeah, no.
Was Peter Jackson, was the studio all interfering.
Yeah. Harry Potter again wasn't. Indiana Jones wasn't, was it? Was it Indiana Jones?
I think they were all Spielberg actually. Oh no, why do I think that one of them wasn't?
Say John Wick. But again, it's not one man, but it is the same director.
Yeah, Indiana Jones.
Well, there you go. Would you say John Wick?
I don't know, but it's the same director, is it?
I think it is. I think the first one was directed by both of them.
I think it is.
And then the rest is. But yeah, my point is we don't get enough original IPs with consistent visions that aren't chopped up and...
No, we don't.
No.
It's rare.
And
The fact that we're struggling to think of a number of them shows how rare it is.
I mean, you could say Transformers, but I mean, it's consistent. Consistently.
To be fair, Transformers.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
No. I was going to say Fast and Furious, but you could say that with Vin Diesel. He's the real director of Fast and Furious. Yeah. But yeah, that's the point. Yeah, it's original. And another thing, as soon as we got out of Avatar and IMAX, the original, I genuinely wanted to go out and just buy a 4K. Like, I wanted to be able to see that again, like, in that fidelity, and it's like, I want it. Give me it. Which they'll probably release it.
Fucking better.
Yeah, because imagine if they released the second one in 4K, but not the first.
Wouldn't surprise me. It's Disney now.
But yeah, we're gonna wrap this up now. But yeah, overall, it's good. I still think I prefer the first one, but we'll wait and see.
I can see why people are wanking over it because it is a remarkable achievement.
I feel like there's also a lot of people like just doing it for the memes, kind of like Morbius, where it's like, oh my god, it's Avatar.
True, but I do like how I think it is something that should be supported purely
definitely.
because even though, you know, it's like, oh, it's a big money-making thing.
Yeah.
One movie and a ride. Correct me if I'm wrong. Now, obviously, there's toys and merchandise and stuff, but...
And there was one video game, but that's not the point.
It's one movie that is getting one sequel out now. This isn't MCU 30.
And they've been quiet for 13 years. Well, not
This isn't
13, probably
even
12 years.
Jurassic 6.
Yeah.
This is
that's
Avatar 2. This is the second one.
12 years probably after the hype died down. So we'll say like
Indeed.
a year after, yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah, no, it really should be supported, and at the very least, like, go out and see it. But that's the thing, again, with the money-making thing, it has to break 2 billion to break even.
Yeah, but I think Disney are playing the long game with it.
Yeah. What do you mean? Do you think they'll keep it in cinemas for a while? Or?
No, just what we were speaking about earlier. That it's got insane potential.
Yeah.
I think they're willing to just throw money at it to start with because they need to get it going again.
Yeah.
Because it isn't going yet.
Yeah, but then I was thinking maybe all most of the development costs are in the second one. Because it took 13 years to make. So maybe they're all in that, and then the rest of them aren't as bad. Like, they're still bad. Like, they're still bad in terms of cost, but like, just getting to this point was probably why it needs to make as much. But that's a good point actually about kind of like if people like this and it does well, well enough.
It's just got so much potential.
It really does, yeah.
For like Avatar to be one of their flagships.
Yeah.
Which I think it will be.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right, I'll let you wrap this up.
Yep. Thank you very much for joining for another video.
No worries.
But yes, this has been another episode of Calum's Face. Mayhems Musings, thank you so much for watching. As always, if you do enjoy this, drop a like, leave a comment, don't forget to subscribe, and follow me on my Twitters and my Instagrams. And yeah, I'll catch you all in the next one. Cheers. Oh, I also have a Patreon there, so if you want to support me there, that's fine.